everyone, I hope you all are safe, happy and healthy. So today's video is going to be about a show that I watched very recently, and it has actually become one of my favorite shows in the recent times, and it is a South Korean show, a Korean drama. So I was not into K-dramas, and I am not into K-pop yet. So I was always like, I will not get into the craze, I'll not get into the crowd, and like, okay, I'll not get into the bhed chal part of it. But when I watched the first Korean drama that I watched was Crash Landing on You, and then I couldn't stop, and then I was like, I have to watch another, and then I watched this show, which is called It's Okay to Not Be Okay. And I think it is one of the most beautiful shows that I've watched in the recent times. It is so beautifully made that I think that it deserves a lot of appreciation, and here I am appreciating this show on my channel. So today I will be talking about a few scenes that I really like and a little brief about the story. And if you are someone who is going to watch this show and are like, no, I don't want any spoilers, so yes, you can definitely skip this video and just go to Netflix and watch the show. Or if you're someone who wants to know about the show from before and only then want to invest your time watching it, then you can definitely watch this video. And if you're someone who is just here to support me and increase my watch hour, then of course, you can continue. So let's start with the story. The story has three major characters. The first one is Ko Mun-young. So Ko Mun-young is a writer. She writes books for small children, and she is shown to have an antisocial personality. Now, and like person who is antisocial shows no regard for other people's feelings, and even if that person has committed a bad deed, they would not feel guilty or they would not feel remorseful for something bad that they have done, because they don't have that feeling of guilt or remorse, and that is how they are. That is how they are characterized. That this person is antisocial and they have difficulty socializing with other people as well. So initially, when they had shown her as that character, you will feel some sort of angst towards her. But later on, she is shown to have a dark past as well. And they have tried to show that how a person's childhood affects him in the future. Because as it is said, nobody is born a bad person. It is how your experiences lead you to become the person that you are today. So that is what happens with Ko Mun-young as well. She had a very troublesome childhood, and that is why she grew up to be someone like that. So let's talk about the next primary character, who is Moon Sang-tae. Now, Moon Sang-tae is someone who is suffering from autism, and autism is a serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate and interact. It impacts the entire nervous system, and as a result, it affects the overall cognitive, emotional, social, and physical health of the affected individual. Now, the symptoms vary from person to person, but the most common symptoms include difficulty with communication, with interacting in social settings, and people have obsessive interests and they show repetitive behaviors. In this show, also, they have tried to incorporate these emotions into Moon Sang-tae. And hats off to the actor who has played his character. I think he's done a wonderful job in playing the character. And if you're watching the show, you will not feel that that person is acting. You will connect to that character so much that he makes you realize that, okay, this is a reality. Yes, I am portraying a character, but you have to realize that this is reality. People suffering from autism go through these things that I'm trying to show you. And he's done it so well. So yeah, that is his character. So also a thing that the show, like I think, yeah, the writers, directors have tried to incorporate in the show is that they have tried to not show Moon Sang-tae as someone who is very dependent on other people. They have tried to show the other part of it, because even in people suffering from autism, there are different stages of recognizing, of detecting that the person is suffering from autism. So if detected at a very early stage and if given the correct treatment, people can lead a normal life in future. So they have tried to show that as well. So Moon Sang-tae, yes, he is suffering from autism. He has difficulty understanding other people's emotions, but at the same time, he tries to do things by himself. He tries to do something of his own. And by the end of the story, they have tried to show him as an independent person as well, who wants to live an independent life because he's capable of living an independent life. So that is also a part which I really liked about the show. And finally, the third most important character of the show, his name is Moon Gang-tae. Now, Moon Gang-tae is the younger brother of Moon Sang-tae, and he is taking care of his elder brother because he lost both his parents at a very young age in his life, and now he is the one who is taking that responsibility, and he takes good care of his brother. He loves his brother a lot, and he works as a caregiver in the psychiatric hospital, in OK Psychiatric Hospital. So that is his character, and also the actor playing the character is very good looking. So I think you should, if not for any other reason, this is a very strong reason that you should watch the show. But yeah, anyway, so he is a person who has been taking care of his brother from a very young age. So he used to feel that his mother loves his brother more than him because Moon Sang-tae required a lot more attention of their mother than him. But he was a very small child. He did not know that initially in his childhood days. So he used to think that he's deprived of love, and even in his adulthood, he does not try to create connections with other people. He thinks that he won't be able. Nobody will love him a lot, and he wants to give his entire love he wants to take care of his brother that much. So, because he thinks that that is his responsibility that his mother has given him and he has to do it. So, he has a lot of repressed feelings inside him, like a lot of repressed feelings inside him, and he also goes through a lot. So, his journey is also shown very beautifully, like moments of outbursts and moments where he's trying to keep it inside himself, and it takes like 100% of his energy, like 200% of his energy to not burst out and just stay calm. So these are also some things, and what the family members face when someone in their family is suffering from a developmental disorder, and what do they go through. That is also shown through Moon Gang-tae's character. So now let's talk about the few scenes that really stood out for me. And the first scene was the very first scene of the show. So it was, they actually tried to give away the premise of the show in the very beginning. So that was a very good part, because that keeps you hooked till the end, because that is what's okay. So this is the story. So that is shown very beautifully. So that is the animated part of it. And this was the scene.
그럼 난 이래도?
The second scene that really stood out for me was the second meeting of Jo Yong and Moon Gang-tae. Well, technically it was not their second meeting, but yes, in the show, the way it was shown, it was their second meeting. That was a very strong scene, I feel, because both the characters were shown at their extremes. Jo Yong was the female lead of the show, and she is not shown in a positive light at all. Like completely opposite to the shows that we watch, where the female lead is, yes, the perfect lady of the show, but here Jo Yong is far from perfect. She is full of imperfections, and that is the moment where like she would have just stabbed that person, she wouldn't have felt guilty about it. Like she wouldn't have killed him, and that is what the explanation that she gives Moon Gang-tae, that I wouldn't have killed him, I would have just given him a little bit of a scar. So that is the kind of personality that she is. Like she feels no remorse, but at the same time Moon Gang-tae is also shown at his extreme of they show the capability of how much he can suffer. Like he jumped in, he saved the patient, and he's holding that sharp object, and he's keeping everything inside him, and you can see his facial expressions as well in that scene, where he's like, okay, I will not burst out, I will keep it inside me, I cannot lose it right now. So that is his years of practice that he's come to that point that he can actually suffer a lot. So my third favorite scene is where Moon Gang-tae finally loses his shit, and like he loses it finally. But yeah, it is not a good thing, but when you have a lot of emotions inside you, you need a place to vent it out. Otherwise you will end up like what happened over here. Moon Gang-tae had been like piling up a lot of emotions since a very long time in his life. So here what happens is that someone from outside comes to the hospital to visit one of their family members, and they get into a fight with Ko Moon-young, and that person hits Ko Moon-young. Now in return, Moon Gang-tae hits back that person, and it is not acceptable. Of course it is not acceptable. A caregiver or a person working at the hospital cannot go around hitting people like that. But he did not have that calculative moment. Like every time he does something, he thinks a lot that, okay, I will do this, I will do that. You know, he's very calculative in his life. But this was the moment where he bursts out and he hits that person real bad.
선배 그만해요. 이거 아니잖아. 그만해.
So yeah, that was the scene. And when he comes back and he like tries to help Ko Moon-young get up,
괜찮아? 아니.
he asks Ko Moon-young, are you okay? And he hugs her. And Ko Moon-young, the brick that she was holding, she just it just falls down. So that is also a very beautifully written scene, that when you receive love and care from someone, the negative side of you starts to fade away. So I think that I think that was the message that they were trying to give over there. So there's this one scene in the entire show which really stands out, and I think it is one of the best scenes. I think I'm saying best in all the scenes that I'm talking about, but yes, this is also one of the best scenes. So what happens is that Moon Sang-tae and Moon Gang-tae get into a quarrel inside the hospital, and Moon Sang-tae says this line, I want my brother to die. Now this is a line that he is not directing towards Gang-tae, but this is something that he had heard in his childhood, because Gang-tae had said this before. So Moon Gang-tae had said this to Sang-tae once when in their childhood in front of their mother, that I want my brother to die, because his mother was always prioritizing his brother over him, and him as a small child, he did not understand why. He did not know why. He was so small, he did not have the capability to understand the problems that his brother was facing. So he always felt that, why does my mother love my brother more than me? Sang-tae over here remembers that point. Years later, he still remembers that thing in his mind, and he repeatedly says that, and he says that you want me to die. That scene is also a very well written scene. So the next favorite scene of mine, like it's actually like I like to keep both these scenes together because like it is like, yeah, you can compare both these scenes. So the first scene is where Ko Moon-young expresses her love, and the second scene is where Moon Gang-tae expresses his love. So it is like more of a not a very serious scene, but it's like a very funny comparison of the two. So you can have a look.
사랑해 강태 씨. 사랑한다고.
고문형.
사랑한다니까?
Last but not the least, the scene that really touched my heart, and it was a scene where Gang-tae, Sang-tae and Ko Moon-young are on a trip, and Sang-tae and Gang-tae are talking to each other, and Sang-tae tells Gang-tae that you belong to yourself and I belong to myself. It is not your responsibility to look after me. You can now live your life. You can now take care of your own self, and I will take care of my own self, because your life is your life. You were not destined to look after me, and that is how they end the entire story.
문강태는 문강태 거.
So I really hope that I did not spoil the show for you, because I've only given a few scenes, okay? The show is very much more than what I've spoken about. They have a lot of twists and turns and scenes which are really, really special. These were just a few of them, like not even like 10% of it, like 5% I have given out there. But I would still want to talk about a few extras. I like the way how they had like spoken about mental health without mental health being their primary theme, but they had tried to show it in a very subtle and a very normal way. They did not try to speak about it like, okay, mental health is this and that. They try to like generalize and normalize it as much as they can, which is very important. Like talking about mental health issues in a normalized and generalized tone is very, very important, so that people like break through the stereotypes and the stigma that they are facing. So they had shown a few stories of the patients who were there in the OK Psychiatric Hospital. They showed it very precisely and very, I wouldn't say perfectly, but they tried their best, and yeah, so I think that is also what stood out for me. One more thing that they have spoken about is that family is not just by blood. You can also have a family of your own choice, and that family can also fill your life with happiness and joy. Lastly, if you're a fan of romance, then you should definitely watch this show, because it has some romantic scenes that are very beautifully like acted out by the actors, and the chemistry between Ko Moon-young and Moon Gang-tae, the development of their story and their characters, and the chemistry between both the characters is phenomenal. So like, share, comment and subscribe if you really liked the video. I know it was a little too long, but I did not want to miss on the good parts. So yeah, that is it. And do watch the show. The show is really good and it is available on Netflix. And if you want to invest your time and watch a good show, then this is the one, and you will not be disappointed. Thank you.